Hello, Prakash.
Hello, Nirmal Bhai. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you for doing this.
Thanks for calling me.
Thank you for doing the time. And it's been a long time since not long in the sense of years, but it's very short time since I've been knowing you. Since I met you somewhere around 2015 when I was working in security, and I saw you. And since those years, I've seen you rise meteorically in your professional life. So I thought your story would be a very great example and an inspiration for many new migrants and students who come here and want to make big. So thank you for making time, and thank you for agreeing to sharing your story with the larger community.
Oh, thanks, Nirmal Bhai. Thanks for thinking of me. I'm not that big though, but I'm trying to be, um, better every day in my life. So, as you know, from struggle time to up to here, every day been different days. So, yeah, thanks for thinking that my story might help some other people as well to motivate them. It's not a big success, but I think what important is to keep thinking of success in life. So, yeah, let's discuss, find out more about me or we discuss both together.
Okay, so because we are thinking or talking to our life in Australia, why Australia? You are from Nepal. Why did you even think of coming to Australia? Nepal is a great, beautiful country.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I think the coming abroad is, from back home, has become a fashion nowadays. One way is a fashion, but other way is a compulsion as well. If you look at the growing population back home, and the not many opportunities, for the people like us, young people, all the politicians they're holding their positions, and not many new jobs coming in the market, and also maybe you're familiar with the reservation system back home that's killing people like us. So yeah, there's so many factors who makes compelled to us to come to Australia. But looking back, I think it was a good decision. If I was there by now, I wouldn't have done so many things that I've been able to do here. But yeah, people like me, there's so many still wanting to come here. So there's looking like from 2009 up to here, nothing has changed.
And did you make this decision by yourself, or there were many more people who guided you, helped you, who made you even choose to come to Australia instead of going to, say, US or any other country?
Yeah, surprisingly, you asked this question. In Nepal, it works like a 10 plus 2. When you finish like a 10 is they call it school living certificates, and then you have to do 11 and 12. And most of my friend went to US after 12. So US is the first choice, and I said at that time I'm not going to go overseas. I will stay here, do some study, and do things for my own country rather than going to somewhere else. And that's how I didn't come to either Australia or US that time. I chose to study bachelor degree. I did that, but in those 3 years. Most of my friends from bachelor degree also went away. Some of them went to US, some of them to Europe, and that compelled me to think. Okay, everyone is going, so there must be something. What should I do here? Kind of thing. So yes, the decision is mine. My mom and dad wanted me to be a doctor, so they after +2, and I kind of agreed, okay, let's do it. And but at the last minute, I said, nah, I don't want to be a doctor.
So you studied to be a doctor or something else?
No, they put some money aside for me to become a doctor. They wanted me to send to China as well to do a doctor degree, and I said nah. And in the last minute, I pulled that up.
So what did you do in your bachelor's in?
In my bachelor, I did environmental science. That's 3 years in Nepal, and yeah, after that I opened my mind, like, okay, there's not much left here, for young people like me, opportunity wise. So let's go abroad, do some studies, learn new things. That's why we came here.
So when you came here, did you study or did you do your masters in environmental, or how did you move
Yes.
into accountancy?
Yeah, surprisingly, when I inquiry to Curtin University, I think, for the master's program, I was shocked hearing the price. The study so expensive. I think it was about 35,000 per semester, because it included practicals,
Mhm.
everything. So expensive, and I thought, okay, let me study something who gives me PR first, and then it became cheaper to study the environmental science later on, and that's what I did, accounting first. It was cheaper.
Right. So you had no interest as such in
No,
doing
no,
accountancy.
not at all. And if you believe that, until my master's degree, I never studied accounting before, because not even a single word in accounting. Whenever there was a accounting subject in school, I choose something else. Optional account. I had optional accounting, but I chose something else. So I never did accounting. But surprisingly, when I did my master's degree in first semester, I came across so many new terms. Debit, credit, I had no idea. So I went back to library or friends' sons, got the accounting books from year 6 to year 12, studied all to learn the basics, and I became interested in accounting after that. So I loved it. After that, and and after I finished my accounting degree, I didn't want to go back to environment science now, because it took me 2 years, but I think I did good as well.
It's so interesting to hear that, because when I did my engineering, I had my first in my very first year we had a unit on accountancy, and the only thing which I remember from that unit is debit what comes in and something what goes out. That's it. I don't know anything. And after so many years, when I started my own business and I had to do accounts to have to manage all that, then I started learning. I was like, yes, it is so interesting. And if you have a skin in the game, then it becomes even more interesting and more things to learn, but it took so many years.
True. Yeah, accounting. Everybody says accounting is boring, but yeah, the thing that we do is a public practice is can be boring if you're doing same thing for over and over period of time, but it's challenging for us. It's exciting.
So you said you chose accountancy because of the fees in the university. So student life is already tough in terms of money. How was your student life?
I think it's same as everyone else. So yeah, it's stressful. When you come over to a new country, new language, new environment, new culture, and you don't know much about anything apart from your your spouse that you come with. So yeah, my one was challenging, because that I came in 2009. That time was in like a kind of recession, in Australia as well. Not many jobs. I think it took about 6 months to get me a job here, and I was fired within a week.
Oh,
So I'm not good in kitchen. I got a job in Nando's, and helping in the kitchen or cook something as well. I never done that in my life, so it was very hard for me to learn. They gave me a week time to learn, but one person comes and they show you how to do, and other person comes and say, "I'll do this, don't do this, do the other way," and it confused me as well, being new in that industry. So after a week, the boss came again and said, "Oh, you didn't learn for a week, so thank you very much." But they pay me for that 1 week. That was thankfully. So that was so I never went back to kitchen. So after that, I did some cleaning jobs in the shopping centers to support. That was a good job, I think. When being a student, you always need daytime free. You have a uni and study to do. But cleanings, like being odd work, they're always in the evening or after hours. So that helps a lot. And that may give me some money, to be flexible for my study. And coming with a spouse or wife is very good idea as well. So because you support each other. So she was working by then as well. So Yeah, struggle, a lot of struggle, and you can't say that to your family as well because you come with a different dream and you don't want to disappoint them. So yeah, we managed quite well.
That's the thing. The decision to come to Australia or anywhere to do anything new is yours, and if you have that made that decision on your own, then you have to take the responsibility for the all the barriers and problems that come with that decision. Otherwise, you're always blaming someone else. Your parents, they pushed me into medical. They pushed me into engineering. They pushed me into something else.
Yeah, that's true, and we don't have that luxury now. You chose.
So, do you miss because you choose accountancy now? You're studying accountancy. Do you miss environmental engineering?
First few years I did. I did because I see my friends doing some research in Japan, some doing research program in China, or some of them are doing in USA as well, in universities doing well. Looking at them like, oh, okay, I would have been better maybe with them doing some better work or finding a solution in the environmental area, because this is a new challenge for the world. There was a few years gap anyway, so 5-6 years gap after I finished my bachelor's, and then I got my graduation here. So that 5 years kind of compelled me to forget about it. So I did initially, I missed it, but not now. I don't regret.
So, how did you convince yourself that comparison is okay, but the decision that you have made is correct? You keep going on that decision. How do you manage your mental health in those days?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think you struggle yourself for some time, but there's not many people to share around. But instead, what I did was, instead of thinking too much, I planned for future. So that's what I always did. Even I was working in cleaning or security or for other company, I always plan to do well in the future. I always think that, okay, this is not your permanent place. You have something else in the future, so you plan that, and that gives you some peace of mind and make you progress.
That's good. So now you have completed your student course or accountancy. How did you plan to, like, your steps into moving into professional field, or you just got a job in accountancy?
Oh no, that was so hard time. Even if you think from now, this time, from I compare this time to the time like 2010-11. So it was too hard to get a job from your own profession, especially without having your permanent residency, or especially without having the local experience. It was tough time. I after graduation I didn't get a job for some time. We had to do have you heard about the professional year program? So you got to go through the professional year program for the migration purpose as well, and that will give you the 3 months, 4 months full-time experience. So if you do well, you get a job if they need. So I was in one of a company called Coffee International. Maybe you heard. It's engineering company. I was there for my placement. Luckily, I was exposed to the business development side. I worked together with the business development directors. It's his assistant, not in accounting altogether, but in general. So that helped me to expose myself towards this industry. So.
One of the most often excuse or a solution that most students give when they don't find a job that easily in their profession, or for example even for a late job, is that people are racist, people are discriminatory, and they're not giving the job. Did you feel like that when you didn't find jobs that easily?
Yeah, initially I was thinking, I was in the same pace like others. But when time passes, you realize that what they are doing is not just a racist kind of thing, but it's to protect their business. If looking at if they hire fresh people like us at that time, they have to invest a lot of time. They need to teach you so many things, because what you study in university and what you'll do in real life is totally different. So, and if they have a 10 or 20 applicant, and if they have someone experienced, they hire the experienced one. So I don't think this 100% racist, but there might be some component in it. So
Okay, so it's always good to have a different perspective from the employer side as well.
I know now, by fact, because we hire a lot of staffs as well. So, and even I don't hire the new one if I have options to hire the experienced one, because you have less time to spend on them, and they can start production, straight away. So so that part, I think I was in the same page with them, but realized slowly. But what is like the newcomer or new fresh graduates need to think is what makes difficult here to hire them is the policy. Like in a private company, you can't hire them in a voluntary basis just to give them work experience. So that's the difference that we have from back home. Back home, you go, okay, come here, work with me for 6 months. I don't pay you anything, and it's after you learn, if you deserve, I will pay. You can, those kind of thing you can do, but not here. You can't even hire someone to do volunteer work unless you're coming from universities, as a placement. Or
that is actually one of the often thing I heard when I was working in that migrant employment sector, that people used to say, I'm ready to work free, why can't they just hire me? Or
Exactly.
why can't they just keep me and teach me, and I'm happy to work for a year or 6 months free? But I told them that's not how it works. You're not thinking in terms of employers' responsibilities and duty of care, because he might not just be paying to you, but he has all these different operational requirements, insurance requirements. Then he has to report, and then if something goes wrong, then he has to pay for all those things. There's workforce coming in, there's work safe coming in, there's fair work coming in.
So many.
There's layers and layers of bureaucracy and regulation. So you might think from yourself, but from an employer's point of view, and especially when I run my own business, it's not that easy to hire someone just
exactly
because someone thinks that they should be hired. How long did you stay in your job before you started your own business? And why you start your own business?
That's a good question. I think, as I said, in the Coffee International, I was working as a business development assistant. He gave me some perspective, because when we have to go and do the deal for the make new contracts, find a business for the company. So he gave me some kind of perspective that, okay, Prakash, do you know that you're not born to work in 9 to 5 kind of job in the office? And I said, why do you think so? And he said, you have a good business sense. You should be a businessman. And he said, I don't know what you should do, but you should look into doing a business. And I said, that was the first click in my mind. So, but I was still looking for jobs and things like that. I came across with a company called SNS Accounting, which head office in Sydney. So they were looking someone to manage their accounting here in WA. So and I joined them. I learned from them some of the stuff. How this public accounting works, what other services they can offer or we can do. That gave me foot in the market. But what compelled me to do my own business is the service that people are getting. So they are in Sydney, but customer here, time difference, and if they want to talk to the accountants, they never answer the phone or reply the email. They had a lot of complaints. So I was accountant for them, but is really not an accountant. I was a mediator, and it was very difficult for me to work there as well. There's not much system in place, and not much customer service, things like that. And I thought, okay, there may be better way to do this kind of business, And so I explored a bit of market, and you need a license to become accountant, and being freshly graduated and not much experience, you can't have a license, So I bought a franchise called JTax. That's when we met, I think. Yeah. And so that we can learn as well. So I stayed with them for a year. I learned a lot of things. I went to had to go to seminar, do some PDs every now and again. So that gave me more confidence. Okay, these are the things. I can compare that with a previous accounting firm and this. After that I realized, okay, so people like this, they can do the good business, then why I can't do it? So that's how I managed to progress into Vivid Partners after those couple of years.
So Vivid Partners is your business now?
Yes, Vivid Partners is.
Accountancy is a very competitive environment. I've got many friends who have run their own accountancy business and providing services. So how is it actually from inside? And what advice would you give to someone who wants to start their own accountancy business now?
Yeah, I think accountancy and the mortgage broker is too many people now in the market. But accounting is something like it's called, accountants are called trusted advisors. So to become a trusted advisor, you got to win the trust from the customer. So it's very competitive, but when you have certain things covered, they follow you. So I don't find it like my competitors are challenging me kind of thing. So because we don't advertise, or it always comes from the word of mouth. So what basically we focus is the customer service and what works well for them, rather than what they ask to do and just do it and finish. Now we just don't take it as transactional. We take it as family. Okay, you hand over your business to me. I might not be the cheaper one, but we will look after you. You focus on whatever you're good at. If you're good at cooking things, making nice food, you focus there. You don't have to come home do your bookkeepings or payrolls. We handle everything. So that's a tailor-made services to the customers. I think that's how we are a little bit different than others. And we approachable, so anytime they need anything, we have 6-7 in our team now, so anyone pick up the phone and help them straight away. And inside is that. The outside world is a bit different, outside world is, you gotta do your own activities, research. You become yourself better every day, and that's how you keep up to date in the market.
So tell us about your business, how big it has become. How long have you been in the business?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I think officially I started in 2015, but it's been how much? How long now?
8 years.
8 years.
Accountancy,
yes. But it was very challenging at the beginning. Any business, it takes about five years, minimum to settle down, to become in a stable condition. But that's why working on your own and working for yourself, developing a business, it is challenging. I used to leave home like 7 o'clock and reach home to 11 o'clock. I think first 3 years I was working on side as a security as well while I was developing the business. So that helped me a lot. That helped me a lot, and I got customer through my security job as well. And and wife working as well full time. So whatever she makes, she used to give me to pay the rent, and I had one lady assisting me while I'm away. So that was a hard work, but I think looking back now, I think I did a good move.
So you did achieve good success in your accountancy business. You're doing good. You have achieved whatever you wanted to achieve in accountancy business. Why start an RTO now?
That's a good question. So RTO.
Tell us about your RTO business.
See the RTO. I always wanted to open an RTO when I came here. I saw people going to the universities or colleges where they have they're like one of them. Okay, they come here, they don't get a special treatment. Some of them get lost as well, on the way. They don't know where to start, how to enroll themselves, because even if you go to ECU, you have to enroll yourself, and coming first time in Australia, you don't know much about how it works. They don't get the assistance that they need. So from that, my uni time also, I thought, okay, let's, if we have our own RTO, Nepalese own here, the people that, Nepalese are third largest students group in Australia after
Really?
China and India. You know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Nepalese is
I thought Bhutanese would be the bigger one.
No, Nepalese are the third largest students migration coming to Australia. So that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, this is a good market, and also you don't open it just as a business, another business, but to help them, not only the Nepalese but all those newcomers to Australia. So that's how the concept was, I think, designed in 2012, but took a while to kick up. And but now I don't want to open in or go into so many areas, but focus into healthcare and the community service industry, because if you see the migrant people, most of them are in that industry, either in aged care, disability care, or nursing, so community services areas. So that's how the Bright College, that's how RTO is going to be specialized, and we are working very, very hard.
And how's the college going now?
College is progressing well. Initially, we got the license on the COVID time. The border was closed, and being a new college, you don't get funding from the government initial 2 years, so it was a hard time. But now, after that border opened in 2021, it became easier. In 1 year time, I think we have had student over 600 students enrolled.
600 students.
Enrolled in our course, and the short course, and they successfully finished, most of them, and they are in the workplace. So it's happy, it's very, very happy to see our students doing well. Most of the people from our southern hemisphere, they come here and they want to get some part-time or full-time job, but when you don't have any sort of skills or training, it becomes the scope becomes large. Where to find a job? You want to find a job in a restaurant or an office or in a hospital or hospitality or cleaning, and you end up looking job for everywhere, and you might not get any, so the purpose of doing this training is, okay, this is the training requirement, and after 3 months I'll finish the course, and then I will be only looking at this one. So, and this pays me well as well, so that's how the mindset most of the new students have now. So they straight away they join either student or this dependent, and then they do the training, go to the work placement, they get job. So it's good to see those kind of changes. When we came, we were not told or we didn't know about it. So now a lot of informations. The technology wise, people are doing well. Students making good money now.
So you have a successful expanding accountancy business. You have an expanding successful RTO business. You have got 2 kids, which is like 2 full-time jobs. 3 now, so 3 full-time jobs. That's 5 jobs. How do you manage all this? What keeps you motivated to keep running, keep working? How does that happen?
Yeah, you're right. Managing a business is like growing a kids as well. So 3 kids with 2 businesses. It's demanding time. Time demanding things. When you are young, my belief is, you can only work when you are young, right? And after you become a little bit older, you have no energy, no motivations, and you have other things to worry about. Your joint pain, hair loss, and things like that. So that's what I did. Okay, if you want to do something, do in young years, so that you can give more time and energy towards it. I wanted to do everything before 40, and then and only progress after that. So I had more dreams, but I think I will cap it up in these two now. So because of kids, it's very hard to manage. You gotta not only play with them, but when they grow, they have activities as well. And if you don't give them a time, they start telling you, "Hey, Dad, you didn't come, to pick me up. Why should I go to the after school care?"
So how do you manage your work-life balance and your mental health? That you're too stressed, too many demanding clients, too many things to manage.
Yeah, true. The client base. I'll talk about the client base initially. So, when you start a new business actually, the client base you become is very hard client base. Those are the one who try and go away, and not stable one. So that time was very difficult, and that's how we moved on, like from one client base to other client base to other. So it's getting better client base wise, but yeah, to I would like to maintain the mental balance. Family life is maybe not happening still, so more time demanded by the business, but for my mental stability, I do some meditations, yoga practices at home, a couple of hours if I can, after everybody go to bed. Otherwise, it's distraction there. Apart from that, not much. I involve in a social work as well. Have you heard about Nepalese Association? I'm with them. There is a temple committee. I'm in there. So pretty much involved in everywhere. So keep me busy. That gives me a mental health.
That's the beauty of married life. After anyone has gone to sleep, then it's your own time to do your own things.
Exactly. If they don't cry.
If they don't cry again, and then you go back to picking up the kids. Okay, we learned something from your accountancy business. On a personal front, what common mistakes do you think people make, and then they come to you to solve it?
Okay, let me slightly change the question. So, what are the common perception people have here? Is then back home, like in Nepal or India or any part of the southern hemisphere is the same. So we come from a country where paying tax is nowhere in the equation. We don't pay much. So there's the threshold is higher. People don't make that much money, or not educated enough, about the tax systems, how it works. And when they come here, they come with that mindset. That's the biggest challenge we have. Not only in ABC, anyone, but everybody. Whether it is well-educated professional or not educated person. So, the biggest challenge I have is to educate them. Okay, this is that, and if you make money, and some people, trust me, they don't, they stop earning money just because they think that they have to pay tax.
Oh.
They have numerous examples, So recently, I had one guy who made about this year about $600,000. He's quite educated, and then and previous years, he's in the same similar industry making similar money, but he only worked for 6 months because he said, "Why should I pay tax?" And I give him a good equation. So, okay, this much money you make, this much you pay. You're still better off working. Maximum you pay is 45 cents and $1. So, another 55 cents is yours. Why are you worried about paying tax? Only people who make money pay tax. If you don't make money, you don't pay tax. So, those kind of concepts they have, So, and also other challenges about the superannuations, misunderstanding, People don't want to pay into super just to save tax as well. So, a lot of issues, But the current client cohort that we have, they are more educated than the previous one I have. So it's making easier. But also with the experience now, I know when people come to me, I straight away know that what he wants, and I can speak the way he wants. So that makes easier.
It is a very tricky subject to explain to anyone, especially even I have that kind of a mindset that why should I pay 45% of my earnings in taxes? And it's, if you think in 45 percentage, that's okay. You can force someone to pay 45% of their taxes. I think in terms of, it's almost like 50%. Include GST, it's 50%. So why should I work 6 months in a year for the government without any money? So it's because whatever you earn, the government takes away. So you are basically like a slave. You slave 6 months in a year to the government without any benefit. Why should I do it? I should just go and enjoy my life rather than doing something like that. And I haven't been able to find an answer to that question. Why should I slave free of cost to the government?
Yeah, okay, that's a good understanding, I think. But there's two things fixed once you're born. They say one is tax, and there's death. So tax no one can avoid. It's not identical only to this country, but everywhere. But the differentiate between our country paying tax and paying tax in this country is massively different. So you get roads, parks, schools, hospitals, everything free. If you think about those services, someone need to pay, so it comes from, at least they're not misusing it. That's another part.
That's the thing. That's what I always think is like everyone should contribute equally. Everyone should have the same rate of tax. So everyone is motivated even more to work more and earn more and pay the same tax. So the more I work, the more I get to keep. It's not that the more I work, the more I give it to someone else.
Yeah, surprisingly, this is funnily, like the government, I don't know how they think, but if you look at the people who earns more than 300 to 400,000 a year, they don't get any childcare subsidies, any. And they have to pay full from their pocket. And those are the people who wants to work more and pay more tax, So there should be some other kind of balance, when it comes in the social security and benefits. But yes, people get discouraged paying tax. Yeah. Definitely they do. But maybe the current tax system is not encouraging enough. They might need to be reformed. I don't know, but. Yeah, but what I mean was at least even in the current scenario, if you pay 45% tax, 55% is yours. So don't discourage. Still work, but 55% is yours.
From one tricky topic to another, what do you think of the recent changes in the superannuation taxation above 3 million? Because that's a promise that for a government has made for a long time, that we are going to tax you at this rate.
Yeah.
And now I have kept adding on to my super account. It has grown to that limit. And now someone comes and says, no, we are going to change the taxation and we're going to tax it like this.
Yeah. They're increasing, I think, current cap from 1.7 to 3 million. If you look at the percentage who fall in that category, is maybe very low. So in general, majority of people won't be affected. But the superannuation is the old fund, for the people, for the fund for the old people, and most of them already paid tax, or tax from the super already. So it used to be 15%, now they're going to be 30%. Yeah, I see some politics there and different interest. Maybe the government wanted to change because it's not going to affect for majority of the people. But still, I would think other way, I would think like, okay, encourage people to put in the superannuation so that their money is locked for longer term, and that helps economy going smoothly. But yeah, I like the idea you think, so it's more politics than the anything else.
What as a migrant, what thing rattles me on that superannuation fund is that in India during 1970s things, the taxation rate, personal income taxation rate was 97%. 97% on a business. So if you make $100,000, $97,000 will be taken away by the government.
Wow.
So that always keeps increasing. What is the cap on government to take? At what point the government stops taxing you? And we ran away from those systems. Like India opened up their economy in 91. So there are still large problems in that economy. You told about the problems in the Nepalese economy, and that's why you ran. That's why we came to Australia. We think great country, low taxation, whatever I work is mine, I can get to keep. That motivates us to work more. You are working too much, 2 jobs, kids, everything. And then when you have done all that, then someone comes and says, no, we need a share of that.
Yeah, true.
We need higher share of that. And today it is 45%. Can it be tomorrow 55%? Can it be tomorrow 65%? And I have seen 97%.
Yeah, that's true.
Can it be 98%?
Yeah.
So what is the cap? Is that going back on the promise to the migrants, to that, please come here, make our country good, and that's what we are promising you? Is it going back on that promise?
Yeah, that's true. I think no one knows about the cap, but the 45 may be already too high, so it should come down, in my opinion. But the government is doing reform, I think, every year to year. Whoever government is like, when we come here, the limit was 6,500 annual, and it went up to 9,000, and then 18,500 that we have now. So they're constantly changing. I never know, from the company there was 30% flat. Now they have a different slabs now, 25 and 30% for small to bigger businesses. So they will change it. I think they will change eventually. The problem with Australia is the populations. I think they want to bring more migrant in. The more population they have, and the more jobs they generate, the revenue to the country will be higher, and they can start taxing lower tax rates. There's a problem with the government. Any government when they come, if they start dropping the higher tax limit to down, they say, oh, they are for the they only work for the rich people, not for the poor people. And then if they start changing the lower limit up, and they say, oh, poor people, they're charging more. So they need to find a balance, wherever comes. But the right mindset is important for the government.
That's the thing. We all want to be rich. You want to be a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. Every migrant has the dream of becoming a millionaire. But we want to tax the millionaires higher.
That's true.
So you don't realize you will be a millionaire someday.
And then you will tax higher.
And you'll be taxed. So you can't.
True,
yes,
true.
You said rightly that you can't get away from taxes and higher taxes and things. Yeah. What other things? Okay, that's from personal front. What barriers or your clients tell that these are the barriers that are preventing my business from going forward?
True. Okay. That especially in last 3-4 years with the COVID, people struggle a lot with the cash flow. Another problem with our client base is the whatever money comes into the to their business bank, they think that theirs, and they spend money. So that's the main problem with the clients understanding wise. And that's how they, okay, when if you make 50,000 a month, then that 50,000 is not all yours. You have superannuation to pay, you have tax to pay, you have GST to pay. They don't count it, And when you spend all those money, you have a cash flow problem later on. So that's challenge from their behavioral challenge. But the other than that, some. In the COVID time or everyday time, they have a challenge to maintain the cash flow, and the small businesses, they don't get loan quite easily, to run the business. So if they go to the bank, they ask for last 2 years tax returns, and if the tax returns don't have a surplus income, no way they want to give you the money, So main concern from my small business clients is the cash flow issues.
Cash flow.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you still go back to Nepal?
I do. But with the COVID time, I couldn't go. But last year I went in October for 2 weeks, not long. There was my brother's wedding and festival as well. So, but in the normal circumstances, I like to go at least once a year. So
you have seen Nepal changing. How has Nepal changed in the last, say, 10-20 years that you've been in Australia?
Yeah, in terms of system or political progress, there's nothing changed. It's the same thing. But with effort of the private companies or entrepreneurs, there is a massive changes, in digitalizations, technology-wise. People have learned from other countries, and they started to copy. It's a good change in terms of other way, but if there is no political will, or the political leadership is not willing to change, and small changes won't make much difference. Yeah. So the country's position wise is still the same, but the people's position has changed a lot.
Okay. So you said the Nepalese student community is the third largest. What about the larger Nepalese community? How big it is? Where are they located? And what's the biggest contribution of the Nepalese community to the Australian community?
Oh, that's very hard question. I think, the first part is easier. The most of Nepalese students, their favorite destination is Sydney and Melbourne. Second one is Melbourne, and after that they go to Brisbane and then anywhere. So I think Sydney alone, they have like I don't have a good data, but maybe 100,000 plus Nepalese community there. But even in Perth, we have 10 to 15,000 Nepalese. So Melbourne is another largest one, 30, 40,000, 50,000 maybe. So they're growing. They are participating in local elections, council elections, national elections. Doing well,
And do you participate in the Nepalese functions and community? In what way?
Yeah, I do. That's the only way you take your kids and show them why we exist. We have big people behind. So we have Nepalese Association here, so that they runs all the cultural programs. So any New Year activities, any festivals, so they organize event. It's free event basically, and anyone can come. They provide foods, music, dance. It's a good way of communicating with the younger generations to transform your culture as well. It happens quite often.
And how active is the Nepalese community in relation to the other wider community? Do they interact much outside, or how do you do that?
No, I think the not only Nepalese one. I think Indian community is more proactive. And Nepalese community, in terms of that Indian community's activity, I would say is a bit reactive. If someone calls, they will go, but they won't take the step to initiate the steps to do different thing, because it's a volunteer organization. Everyone is working voluntarily. They just want to finish up their time, do things that have been done in the past, continue things. But they talk each other. There's a Bangladeshi association. We go regularly. They come as well. There's Indian ISWA. We go to their events. They come to our events. And there are others.
Without any visa.
Without any visa. And Sri Lankan association as well. So there are many. I think we've been talking to all the migrant community. But what need to be done is also going to the locals community as well. That will give more inclusivity, if you like that word.
So you said the Nepalese community in Melbourne and Sydney are now active in politics as well. Do you have any interest in politics? And if you are, how would you compare Nepalese politics to Australian politics?
See, I'm not interested in active politics. So I would, I'm very much interested in passive politics. Understand the politics better, see what's going on in a different lens. Rather than from the common citizens' lens. But the politics in a whole, as a whole, is not much different everywhere anyway, isn't it? If they have a chance, and what they do is the same thing. But I think our politicians and politicians here, the only thing difference is ethical. Here they do ethical politics. Back home they don't do ethical politics. So that's how they're misusing the power, misusing everything, and they don't work for the country. for the people. But here, there's no choice. It's a stricter rule. Rule is very strict. People are aware, and they know that if they don't do good thing by people, they will be gone next elections. They can't be there for 5-6 times MLA or MPA like in India. So that's how the people drives the politics here. Then and in our country, the politician drives the people. That's the only difference. But what their motivations is similar, but the barriers are there. Their freedom. Back home they can do anything what they like, but here they can't do anything what they like directly. But that's why they have indirect channels here.
So there's no chance of we seeing Prakash as a candidate for local elections or state elections or federal elections?
No, not really. I'm not interested in the politics at all, active politics.
Right. How do you think you have gelled in the wider community? And is there anything that you still think you have to do more in that community sense?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. We, since we come here, we only inside to one community or similar community like Bangladesh or India or Nepal. They share some values. We are inside that circle only. In terms of events or interactions in your free time. That need to be what I would like to do is go out of that box to others and then bring together. There might be some misunderstanding from both sides to clear them and then bring more harmony.
Mm-hmm.
If we can't do it, who else do it? So that in terms of that, I think we are very in a basic level, so we haven't done much. So we still need to find a way to do it.
So you've achieved all that. You're going good in community, family life. What's next? Where do you see in the next 5 years? What's the plan?
Retirement? Nah, not really. Next 5 years, I think the foundation is done. Everything what I wanted to do. But the next 5 years is just a progress. To want to stick to what we have and then see progress in the business and balance the family now. So it's more, when the kids become 7-8 years old, then different challenges come. So I'm in that path, that stage of my life. So business wise, no more hassle. I don't want to get involved into so many other things. But yeah, now the family focus starts.
That's good. So if someone wants to reach to you for their accountancy needs or RTO or just for a chat, where should they find you? How can they find you?
Oh yes, I'm available in everywhere. I think they can find me in a Facebook or Google or Vivid Partners. If they type of Vivid Partners in Google, my profile will come. Our number will come and you can contact me. I'm happy. We don't charge you initial appointments. So even if you text me saying, "Oh Prakash, I wanted to catch up with you. I need small favor." I'm available to coffee catch up or talk. Satsang, that's what we call.
Yeah, we call satsang.
Yeah.
We get together and we talk and we take the community forward.
That's true.
That's a good word. That's a good word, satsang. Yeah. Thank you, Prakash. Thank you for sharing your life journey. Thank you for sharing experiences. And your mantra for success: keep working, keep motivated, keep working, managing your work-life balance. And I hope best of luck for your future.
Oh, thank you, Nirmal, calling me here. And I didn't know you were a very good presenter.
It's still a learning experience. I would say thanks to Franco who introduced me to radio, and thanks to many other people who have advised me many things to do. And actually Franco is looking for many more volunteers. If you have anyone from Nepalese community or who wants to come and use the global chat platform to talk about the Nepalese community, anything, they can use the facilities. So that's a very good initiative from Franco and Global Chat Radio.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. Yes. So.
Anyone in multicultural community who wants to use the facilities, they should, and it's a good opportunity.
And it's
a
free,
good
isn't
opportunity
it?
to learn.
Yeah, and it's free, isn't it?
I think I would lead that to Franco, what he says, but but it's not that. No. I don't think there's a charge. He just wants more community members and more community organizations to use the facility, so we can have a better understanding of each other's community.
Okay.
So I never knew Nepalese student life or student numbers are the third largest. So we get to know more each other. We get to know more about the different communities, the different festivals, the events, and also how we can work outside of our community with other communities to work more, to put forwards our needs, to put forward our requirements of what we think, and then also active role in community in terms of SES, of emergency services, of volunteering, pooling our resources. There's a lot of things to do outside our community that we should be doing and we should be exploring. And I think Franco's radio, Global Chat Radio, that the platform that I use to record my things is a very good platform.
Well, yeah, I think it's a good idea, and this is a very massive instrument now to spread the news or information. You're doing well. I think I can help you as well to find more volunteers.
Wonderful. Thanks, Prakash, again. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Do like, subscribe, and share on whichever platform you have heard this. To know more about Perth Dialogues, please visit perthdialogues.au. From everyone in the studio, goodbye.